District Board of Trustees. Today is Monday, July 14th, 2025, and the time is now 6 o'clock. All are present: Brent, Dakota, Danny, Carter, Stormy, Michelle, and myself. I verify that we have a quorum of board members present in the boardroom per provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Mr. Bennett, will you verify we comply with Texas Open Meetings Act's provisions concerning the notice of this meeting?
Yes, sir, we did.
Mr. Bennett, do you mind leading us in invocation?
Sure. Father, we just love you. We give you honor and praise tonight, and just thank you for all that you do in our lives and for your guidance. Lord, we pray, God, Lord, just give us wisdom tonight. We pray, God, Lord, that you lead and guide and direct us, Lord. In your word, it says that you order our steps. We pray, God, that you order our steps, God, that you unite us as a team and a community. We pray again for all of those victims in South Texas that are dealing with the floods. We pray, God, Lord, just give peace to those families and healing. We love you. We honor you. In Jesus' name, everyone said.
Amen. Mr. Bennett, do we have any registered comments or speakers at this time?
No, sir.
All right, so we will go into any acknowledgments or appreciations.
We do not. She had one left over from last year, but it's going to do it in September.
Okay. All right, so we'll go on into campus reports.
And we don't have any on the campus, but we do have an athletic director report to report on summer activities.
Well, there we go. Will we go into the athletic?
So starting off with the facilities update, they came in and redid our floors towards the end of the 4th of July week. So we got to get back on those about halfway through the week last week, and they look nice and shiny and ready to take care of them and get us through the year, get things started. Like you said, we had a lot of summer activities going on. Started off the summer with a youth basketball camp that Coach Launderholm put on. I think we averaged about 15 to 20 kids that came at least one of the days throughout that camp. We're trying to hope to improve on that next summer with every sport hosting their own camp. This summer with the turnover is a little bit trickier trying to get all that figured out, but summer basketball month of June, junior high and high school played at least the girls played at least in one summer league, if not multiple games or tournaments, shootouts through the month of June. The boys, we hosted one here all through the month of June, every Thursday, where we started out with 6-on-6 football and then transitioned to the gym and did football. Something I was really impressed with, and I think it was a big hit with the summer track. I know Dakota was talking about getting to go to College Station to run the 800, but that's great exposure for our kids to go out at a young age. We even had some high schoolers and some middle schoolers that jumped in and did it. I know my kids enjoyed it. We actually hosted a meet here. We had 7 or 8 different track teams come here, and we competed here and got to show off our facilities. The livestock boosters had the opportunity to run the concession stand. Never really heard how they did, but hopefully they at least broke even. But it was great to show off our community, and it was a really well-run meet. Had a ton of volunteers help, but it was fun. Going to staffing, we're fully staffed. Everybody's getting moved in. On the boys' side, we got everybody moved in. We're waiting on Coach Armstrong, who picked up a key today and started moving in today. So she's been here throughout the summer to help when she can. She's still working another job to help supplement until she gets her first paycheck, but she's been here ready to roll and starting to move in this week. Upcoming events, cross country is one of those that doesn't have to wait till August 4th to start. They can start sprinkling in practices here and there. So our cross-country coach has been in contact with them. Football will start August 4th, that first Monday that we have in service. And then the first scrimmage will be August 15th at Ranger. Athlete recognition, some all-star games. Lily Benson played in the Texas Six-Man Coach Association all-star game in Wichita Falls. She was actually named the defensive MVP, which was really impressive, especially at an all-star game. Very proud of what she has done to showcase our community, and I think it's a really good snapshot of Roby Line and Lady Line is. Then Caden Mivis as well, playing the FCA All-Star Basketball game. It's always good to see those kids back on the court one more time and get to experience that. Been a busy summer. We're excited about the coaches getting here and getting started. Attendance in the boys picking up a little bit. I know the girls had a few more this morning. Last week we averaged about 14 or 15 boys. Girls was a little bit less because we had cheerleading camp going on, but they were around 10 to 12 most mornings. So ready not, here it is. It's ready to go.
Any questions? Thank you. All right, going on into business and finance.
Okay, with the deposits and the expenditures, are there any questions on that before I jump into the budget? No, okay. So we do have a budget amendment proposal, and it's going to be for functions 31, 33, and 34. They're all for payroll purposes, because like we've said in the past, everything was based off the expenditure whenever the budget was first created. So we have function 31, which is counselor payroll. Function 33 is nurse payroll. We had an LVN leave, and then we hired an RN. So it's kind of make up the difference within the salaries of that. And then function 34 is for bus driving overtime. So that's the money. I know previous years before they paid the flat rate. Then this last year before me, they were paying overtime. So with this year, it wasn't budgeted. So this is the budget to correct that for their bus overtime pay. Any questions about any of that? I know the budget amendment's a little bit down.
I think as we go on this flat rate this next year that y'all voted in, it'll be much easier for us to budget, because we can look at a daily rate and how much it's gonna cost us daily and budget for the year.
And we'll take action on that amendment later on.
Other than that, that's all I have for the budget.
Any questions on business finance? Everyone good? All right. Superintendent's report.
So I just want to update you a little bit. You've probably heard about that, seen the cell phone bill, or cell phone, new cell phone policy. You had this in your report, but let me see if I can get it to work. But anyways, House Bill 1481 is a new law that was passed in this last legislative session. And so we will be addressing that in an August board meeting. We're waiting really on TEA to, they're supposed to provide us with an exemplar policy. Also still waiting on TASB to send out student handbook and student code of conducts for the year. But you can see there some of the things that it talks about in that law. This was released by TEA in their last legislative update. Also, if you look in your packet, you can see our current cell phone policy. And I want to point out just, a few things that we're going to have to address. As you can see there, it talks about the district and students, permits the students to possess personal cell phones for safety purposes. However, they must be turned off. That's going to be a change in the law. They're not going to be able to possess them. They're going to have to be put away in their backpack or in their locker, or when they enter the classroom into some type of pocket system that's created. But they will not be able to have them. Not only that, it doesn't just include cell phones, it also includes any kind of telecommunication device, a smartwatch, anything like that. And so
since the state is requiring that, does that mean the punishment's going to be a little harder when it's
well,
caught? Or
unfortunately,
go back to the same?
Unfortunately, they left the punishment to us. I do think that we're going to have, previously what we did is find the student, we take the phone, and then the parent would pick it up. I think we're going to have to add some more punitive consequence to that, whether that be ISS or whatever. Unfortunately, they left that up to the districts, though, to do. But I'm hopeful that TA is going to release a policy soon, an exemplar policy, which is what they're supposed to do soon, so that we can see that. Also, again, looking for TASB's code of conduct and student handbook. We're supposed to have that within the next week. and hopeful something's in there that we can kind of base ours off of. Make sense?
And unfortunately for the teachers, I mean, it's a state law, so it kind
It-
of falls a little
it-
harder on their shoulders
It's
too.
gonna have to be followed
Unfortunately on their.
because again, yeah, it's
But-
state law.
Then it gives the teachers a little more power behind their, say, hey,
Yeah.
no, this is state, this is a law. It's not. So,
Yeah.
it gives them power, but also they have to enforce it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to hold staff members accountable to enforce the policy and the law. And again, I think the bottom line is hopefully this helps students be more focused on instruction rather than other things. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I shared with you the chart that compares us to region and state in STAAR scores for this last year, and kind of wanted you to see how we compare. I think that we did pretty well. Here's some areas we're looking to improve. I'll let Michelle maybe talk a little bit about this, but these are some areas. And we're just looking at meets and masters. We talked about this last year. We're really focused in on improving in the meets and masters level. And so here's some areas that we really want to see that we're not comparing as well to region and state that we want to kind of see improve. And you can kind of see it chart-wise. We're the red. Region is the blue, and the state scores are the green. Michelle, you got any comments on that at all?
I can talk a little bit about that 5th grade class that you saw there. That 5th grade class, we lost a couple of kids in it this year. So last year, when they were in 4th grade, we tested 23. This past year, we tested 21. That's got meets and masters up there, but just to kind of give you some idea of where we started, that we're heading in the right direction. When those kids were in 4th grade, 15 of those kids failed the math test. And this year, we had 7. So, and then on the reading, last year when in 4th grade, 4 failed it. We had 5 fail it this year. We're still really trending in the right direction though with that group. It's a small group and we have small numbers like that, and you factor in all your kids, your special education population, all your kids. We're trending in the right way, but we want to get to that meets and masters. We finally have made it to where we've got more that are approaching. And now we're trying to get to that means mark too, so.
Yeah, and we're going to be going with Bluebonnet and
Yes.
the TEA approved curriculum in both reading and math this next year, and hopeful that it's also going to help us.
Yeah.
Also, you know, I think last year we were somewhere overall score around an 80. We met with Region 14 last week, and this is just a guess of where we're going to be, but we're going to be somewhere around an 84 for this last year. So again, we're heading in the right direction. And you can see, here's some areas of strength. Every one of these areas we beat state and region in both meets and masters level. And again, you can look at the chart, and Roby is in the red. Region is in the blue, and the state scores are in the green. So you can see there's still a lot of areas that we're doing really, really well in, you know.
The approaches went up a lot
It
though
did,
from
it
last
did,
year.
it really did, yeah.
That's what I looked at first.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and that's important and that's good, and growth is an area that we're going to focus on this year. We really want to look at kids and make sure, we talked about that in our meeting last week. A focus for this year for us as a district is going to be looking at the kids and ensuring they're tracking. And so what I mean by tracking is if they were at the approaches level last year, that as we're assessing this year, they're remaining at least at the approach. So hopefully they're growing and catching that next level. But at the very least, they're maintaining at the approaches level. And if they're not, we're going to be paying some special attention to them. You can see overall, Roby, if you do the Domain 1 score overall, we beat region and state. And so we're proud. Our teachers are doing a fantastic job. They're working really very, very hard to make sure our kids are prepared and learning, and we're excited. And I really do believe they're doing a good job, and we're headed towards where we want to be, which is an A.
That 3rd grade group that was on there, just to give you some perspective on that one, 2 of our district goals this year were for 3rd grade. One was percent of 3rd graders that will score meets or above will increase from 23% to 46% by June of 2027. We did it this year. And then the other one was percent of 3rd graders that will score, that was reading and math. One will increase from 19% in math to 40% in math by June of 2027. She did it this year. So she went up to 24%. So we are making progress.
That's great.
A lot of good things going on.
Yeah.
Because most of that stuff I remember we was talking about by 27.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's good things going on. It really is. That's all I've got.
Any other superintendent report questions?
How has it been, Superintendent?
I am learning.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm learning. I talked to Dr. Board earlier today and just told him, the role is completely different than anything I've ever done, but I'm excited about it and learning new things every day. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're excited.
Thank you.
Progressing along.
Smile.
I was warming up. Takes me a while to warm up.
Actually, you actually sound convincing with that one.
He got his coffee.
Yeah. All right, on to consent agenda items, A, B, and C. Have y'all reviewed them, or any questions? And if not, I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda, A, B, and C.
A second.
Aggressive.
Wait a minute,
Very
wait a minute.
aggressive.
We got, can we focus in on? I've got a motion and a second for approval of consent agenda items A, B, and C. All in favor?
Yee.
Any opposed? Passes 7-0. All right, into regular agenda item. Discuss and take action on employment and resignation of school personnel.
So anything new we've got is we hired Brayley Johnson to be our English teacher for high school. We're excited about that. Zane interviewed a bunch of people. It was a long and arduous process this summer. We had several that we looked at that we were excited about, and just things happened, but we're excited to have Brayley. We're sending her to the English boot camp at Region 14 next week to get prepared for the year, and we're looking forward to her, and we'll support her so she can be successful.
Okay. All right. Now, really don't need to do anything on that one, but discuss and take possible action regarding Senate Bill 401. Consider opting out of allowing homeschool students to participate in UIL activities at Roby CISD, or take no action, which will result in allowing the participation in accordance with state law.
So the law has changed here. Previously, you had to opt in. And so now they've changed the law that if you don't do any action, you're in. So if we do not want to allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities at Roby, we have to take board action and opt out. I've asked Zane to research the benefits, both pros and cons. That's in your packet, but if it's okay with you, I'm gonna ask him to share a little bit about what he's found so that we can decide which is best for us.
Yeah, so I put together a little sheet that should be in y'all's packet, kind of going over the basics of it. Like he said, they kind of changed the verbiage on that. I know just in the area, there's not a whole lot that have opted in, or I guess they're opting out to not accept.
And I put it up on the screen, what is in your board packet.
Okay,
in case you don't see.
but some benefits that could help us out, especially at a small school, is increased participation. The $15,000 per UIL activity. So every event that they do UIL wise, the state will send us additional funding for them. That was one of my concerns in the past, is not being able to keep up with equipment and stuff like that, but they're gonna send money.
The only thing I'll add to that is if you think about $1,500 per activity, for us to get what we would get based on ADA, they would have to participate in at least 4 activities for us to break even.
We're saying with our participation numbers in some that we're kind of borderline on, it could help out keeping those programs alive. Stronger community connection, building that sense of community with them, potential for bringing in more competitive talent pool. Anytime you can bring in more athletes, that makes your program better just from the competition aspect of it. Challenges, again, you're not getting their ADA, the funding from them, you're just getting per UIL activity. We still have to track all the educational aspect of it as far as grades and credits, make sure that they're in good standings with all that kind of stuff, and that can be tricky depending on what program they're in. I know there's certain programs that they have to be, that are accepted to go through. The unfair perception, I actually had a conversation with my dad about this earlier, and he was like, well, your kids that go to school have to follow those rules, they have to maintain that, go through the school day, they have to do a lot of extra stuff that these other kids are not having to do. But situation, you don't know what their homeschool reasoning is. Maybe they're working on a farm that morning or something like that. The admin load, like I said, just the paperwork that's involved with it to make sure that we're keeping up with everything will increase. Then kind of some safeguards put in place. They have given different templates and guidance as far as the funding and stuff like that. UIL, it's still kind of iffy. I've heard a couple of different things, but as of right now, it still goes by the UIL rules as far as where you live. So if you live in our school district and we allow it, then they have to play here. But say Rotan or a neighboring school opts out, then those kids can go to the closest school that offers it. They've also talked about, they're not gonna do it this year, but maybe in the future, that if, like, they're gonna treat it like a magnet. Like if that's your first choice as a freshman or your first time going to a public school, then that's your first school, so the transfer rules won't come into effect until you leave. So there's still a lot of gray area as far as, especially when it comes to realignment, because they're not counted in your ADA, but UIL is talking about putting together some kind of formula to adjust for the amount of kids you have that are homeschooled. So that could affect your alignment. I think we're pretty well set where we're at right now. We're not really on the bubble of that, but that's something to think about too, that it could affect that being a realignment year this next year if we get 20 homeschool kids in, and possibility of bumping you up to 2A or something like that. Another concern I have just from the principal aspect is losing kids, their ADA, saying they're gonna go homeschool and still play sports. That's, as a principal side, as an athletic director side, I think it's something that could help us out and we could benefit from, but then on the principal side, I have a concern about that too. Because if they can still play sports if they're not officially enrolled in our school, if they're decided to go homeschool.
Is there a certain curriculum they have to?
It has to be approved through TEA, which I don't know exactly how all that works, but whenever you do homeschool, you have to have a curriculum and you have to do all the paperwork through them. So as long as it's approved through TEA, then we're gonna have to monitor their progression in that program too.
They have to submit the grades when you need them so that you can see if they qualify.
So if we opt in, and let's say everybody around us opts out, and then one of their kids want to come here, do we have to accept them
No,
since we're
it's
the
still,
only one?
there would be a transfer, so you would kind of count it
So you get to.
as that. So it's kind of the same way as if they live in our school district, then we have to accept them into the program. But if they're coming from another school district, then it would be just like a regular transfer. You could do a transfer review and application process through that.
But if they're transferring in from another district, they don't fall under like other transfers coming in? Like being able to play varsity, for example?
No, not if, they would be eligible as long as we're the closest school district that they can go to.
Okay.
One of
So
the
like
new
we can't get
laws-
somebody from Dallas because there's gonna be somebody in between here and there, but the surrounding areas, I know Aspermont's already opted out. Like if we're the closest school district that opts in, then this would be their home school. Now, if we didn't accept them, then I'm sure it wouldn't affect them going a little bit further, but
Yeah. And there's a
They
new
would
law
be
that's a
varsity.
one-time transfer without penalty for UIL. So they can transfer.
I don't think it.
it didn't pass.
It didn't?
It didn't.
I thought I saw it had
I thought
passed.
it passed, but somebody told me that.
Yeah, I
I'll
saw
look
it.
and find out.
Yeah,
But I
double
don't-
check.
I don't think it
Yeah.
passed.
I think that they
I think
had
it's-
a lot of
'Cause I thought I read
Gray
it,
area.
it had passed in
I know that
March, but
the
it may
latest
not have.
update I got was the NIL
False news.
is gonna affect
Yeah.
this. Like kids can now make money in high school
Yeah.
from the colleges.
Yeah.
But the one-time transfer out, it didn't get pushed through.
And I'll be honest with you, I originally was gonna recommend us to opt out, but, I mean, the more I listened, it's intriguing. I'm open to what your thoughts are.
So pretty much if we opt in, we just,
We don't do anything.
we don't do anything. But if we wanna opt out, we have to have an official vote to opt out. So,
And this is something that,
Zane, what's your recommendation?
as a principal or AD,
You're one person.
okay. I like it, I do. I think, just like saying, the reason why it's put into place is to give those kids the
Okay.
opportunity to play. I mean, you don't know the circumstance of why they're homeschooled.
There's a superintendent email in Region 14 that a lot of information is shared, and superintendents ask questions, and it's been very interesting to be a part of that. But I can tell you that there was a lot of discussion about opting out, and then some of the bigger schools started talking about the benefits of it, of opting in, and so it really is intriguing. I will say, if we decide that we're not going to take action and allow them to participate, the rules and expectations for athletes are gonna have to be the same regardless, as far as attending practice and workout sessions and all of that. It'll have to
The
be
nickname-
consistent.
The nickname for this bill was the Tim Tebow bill, because I didn't know that Tim Tebow was a homeschool kid that participated in public school
Yeah.
sports, but,
So they come every day to your practices?
yeah, so that, they would have the same expectations as far as the extracurricular, like they'll be there for the athletic period, they'll be there for the practices.
Yeah.
And they'd be held to the same standards as far as missed practices and.
How does that go as far as like, you know, our athletes have their dress code, their grooming?
It's gotta be the same.
That's same,
The
yeah, that
expectations
would
will
be
be the
exactly
same.
the same.
Yeah,
You put on a Roby uniform.
it's gonna be the same.
Because
Yep.
they'll have to sign the academic.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll have to do
And-
that.
yes.
The academic handbook.
Yep.
And follow those.
Athletic, yep. You know, I'm gonna go with Zane and recommend that we just take no action. Is there any different opinion than that?
I don't like it.
Do you not?
I mean, that's just first
Yeah, the
feel.
share, yeah,
I
'cause we
don't,
need to
I
make-
mean, that's just a feel, that's not, I mean, I know there's reasons for times,
Mhm.
but I think those are very rare. But without knowing,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it if that's what we decide to do, and I'm sure, I mean, I hear the, I'm just, this is the way I am. If you're either in with us or you're not, and if you're not, then go somewhere else.
Right,
Or do your thing.
yeah,
And that may be the wrong approach on some stuff, and you're sure not trying to
yeah.
keep kids from having opportunity in your program if it benefits, but,
Yeah.
I mean, how many of those do we even have?
I don't think there's gonna be very many regardless. And I think, you know, hopefully, if we got some of those kids, we could get them here where they could become part of our family and
Sure.
decide,
There's
you
always
know,
that, yeah.
we want to go to school here because it's an incredible place. But I don't think there's going to be very many.
Again, I'm not saying I'm against it, I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you said how you
Is there
feel.
anybody else got feelings on that? Danny?
I don't have enough information, so I really
Okay.
don't feel like I
You know-
can give my opinion if I don't know.
Yeah.
the
You know-
aspect of it.
We could take no action and we could always opt out next year if it's a disaster or we don't like it.
Yeah, it comes up every year, you have to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's gonna be that much of
I don't either.
a pour
Yeah.
coming this way that I
Yeah.
just, in hearsay, you know.
Yeah, I can tell you Abilene opted in. Most of the other small schools around us are opting out.
Well, I mean, the bigger schools, they got enough unknown anyway.
Mhm.
But I think for smaller schools, you know,
Yeah.
it's the unknown.
And most of the most of the small schools around us are opting out, or that they're indicating that's what they're recommending.
And you do have to wonder, why do they not want to go to school here?
Right.
They want to play sports here. Why are you at home?
Right,
Why aren't you?
yeah.
in our
Even watch showcase.
I think the big deal is,
Watch showcase.
yeah,
Is that it? We can now expect your kids will be homeschooled.
and I think the big deal is the expectations for our athletes regardless will be the same.
Yeah.
Or want to play and.
Or one act play or any other
UIO, yeah.
activity that will be the same. And
Need to think about that.
transfer folks, we will review very, very closely, just like we do ones that are actually going to go to school here.
Is that junior high too? Or is it?
Yes, it's junior high
yeah.
through.
And if they're
7 through
homeschooled
12.
in another town, let's say Sweetwater, and then you let them come in here, you accept them to play sports here, and then they decide, hey, I want to go to school here. Is that looked at completely separate now, or
but-
is it like, well, we've already accepted them to play, we're accept?
Well, to me, it would be one and the same, because before we allowed them to play here, we followed the same thing, transfer policy that we would follow if we were allowed them to go to school here. Because if they can't behave, and they're not somebody that's going to apply themselves academically and all the rules that we have for accepting students, then we don't want them to play here.
So, I have a question. So what happens when they don't like the class they're taking, it's too hard, and they're gonna quit homeschool, but they play?
That's what.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the fear- that's the fearful part.
That's the negative, yeah.
But if they're not passing in that, or having trouble in passing in that, then are they gonna have trouble passing at homeschool?
No, because they're gonna Google everything. There's not gonna be any
ChatGPT.
problem of passing it home.
There is well, some kids have trouble with
Yeah.
homeschooling too.
I think what we ought to do is take no action, and if we can always opt out again next year. But that's just my recommendation. I'm open to whatever your thoughts are.
When does it have to be decided?
We
Like
can
right
look at
now?
it again in August. If we don't want to take any
September 1st
action, it's
this
gotta
year,
be by
and then
September 1st, right?
August 1st, every year after that.
If you want me to put it on the agenda again in August, we can do that.
Let's do that.
Okay? All right.
Postpone.
Yep.
Yeah, what activity, whatever activity.
All right, next on the regular agenda is discuss and take possible action to authorize the superintendent to hire personnel for non-administrative positions. Would you like to?
You had given Dr. Porter that, and I just want to update that. I can tell you hiring is very challenging. Talking about the English teacher, when we posted that job, we had no more than, we posted the job 3 times, and all the 3 times, we had no more than 5 applications between the 3 times. So when you find somebody that's qualified and that you want to hire, you got to move quickly. That's the purpose for it.
I'll make a motion to authorize the superintendent to hire personnel for non-administrative positions.
I have a motion and a second to allow the superintendent to hire personnel for non-administrative positions. All in favor? Any opposed?
I would like to know before you actually do the hiring though, if
I
you
will
would email.
communicate, yes.
and
Which way?
Communicate, so we would.
Okay,
So that we would know.
6-1.
Okay. I will
Yeah.
communicate, and I'll share any of that information you'd like to see.
I think that'll be the biggest thing is
Yeah.
kind of, at least kind of give a little more heads up as far as in regards to,
Yeah, and not only that, as I'm communicating throughout, please let me know if I'm not sharing enough or if I'm sharing too much, because, I want to do it the way you want to do it. It's the way you want it done.
we're a team, if what you're saying is we're a team and let's communicate with
That's
each other.
it, yeah.
Communication goes both ways, right?
Yes.
So, all right, discuss and take possible action to create a part-time position to support DAEP ISS services with the potential for assigned coaching responsibilities.
So our teachers were pulled this year to cover DAP and ISS. We really would like those to be remediation periods where they're able to pull students. And so this would allow us to, I think, 2 wins. We would be able to cover DAP and ISS and not pull our teachers for that, allow them to be able to use those periods to pull students for remediation or anything else that they may do to get our kids prepared. Secondly, we've hired a very young baseball coach and a very young softball coach who I think are going to do fantastic jobs. We're hoping that we can find somebody that would be able to do some mentoring there at the same time. I can tell you that, I won't give names, but between the softball coach that we hired and the coach that left, we saved $30,000 because of time of service. Between the baseball coach and the one that left, because of time of service, we saved another $30,000. So again, I think that will pay for itself.
I think we definitely need someone for the DAP part of it, instead of pulling those teachers like
Yeah.
a period like they did last year. I think you need one person in there with them all day that's gonna monitor them
Yep.
all day long.
And hopefully we find the right person that's actually gonna mentor those kids and try to pour into their life rather than them just be sitting there and it just being punitive.
How often do we have kids in DA?
Not
very-
It's not very often.
Oh.
I say
It
that.
is or it isn't? Well, I'm being torn apart here.
How many days last year did we have someone in there?
You gotta understand, coming from a bigger school, I'm not used to, I'm used to kids being in ISIS every day.
Well, I'm
Okay.
just wondering, it
So,
seemed like
I don't
when
know
I was
what-
in
We
school,
would
it was
go-
just a substitute that would go on there because it was just every so often you'd have somebody in there for a week or something.
I mean,
How did you stay in there?
obvious-
Quit playing.
I never even.
How many
know.
days
I don't
did we
believe
have
that for
someone
one
in there this
second.
year?
They never got caught.
I don't know the number.
I don't know
Probably
that-
Not half the year.
It would probably a third,
Probably. I mean, it
a
wasn't.
third, maybe a third of the year.
And I will say the good thing about having a teacher in there is we had a special education teacher in there, so we didn't have to have out of placement ARD meetings because we covered the special education the way we needed to. And we had teachers that taught math or reading or whatever
Yeah.
that could help those kids when they were in there.
Yeah.
So having a certified teacher,
Yeah,
which I mean, even if you hired someone that would be a certified teacher would be helpful.
yeah.
Because, better than a substitute, I mean,
Right.
because they can help those kids.
So are you gonna pay them just when they're there?
We're gonna,
Or
we would work them.
salary?
We would work them half-time, so they would only get half. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
So, I mean, you can do it based off of strict hours that they work if you want to put them as an hourly employee. But then we have a non-contracted employee that they have a structured salary every month, based off of the hours. So there's two ways that we can build that.
Yeah.
But even being part-time, you don't have to pay for benefits, you're looking at that, TRS.
Yeah.
You're not having to pay for the TRS part of that.
So when they were working, if, say, a kid got assigned to 10 days of DAEP, we would work them full days those 10 days, but then we would have to make up that time on the back end where we wouldn't work them.
So there would be like a week they wouldn't come in.
Right.
Because if you set them up strictly hourly, then we would just do it based off the hours that they
Yeah,
work.
and
But that's
what we would
just
do
a-
is halftime.
Right.
And so their salary would be half of what it would be if they were a full-time employee.
Is that based on years or is that based
Based
on
on
a
years.
salary we set?
Based on years of service.
So they make half of what they make based on their years. Okay, so when they're not in DAP, they're not here?
We would work them, we would.
Or they would?
Well, there's a lot of things you could do. You could use them as a sub, we're always shorthanded in finding subs. And then there's plenty of other places we could plug them in to help out.
So they would just be here part of the day?
They would only be here on days that, we would set a set schedule. It would be whatever works for us. The principals look at what they need and it would be based on that. The only change to that would be was when we had somebody in DAP ISS, then they would have to be in there
So
full
if they were
days.
here
We would
for-
have to make that time up on the back.
Okay, so if they were here for 10 days for DAP,
We would have to
that would
make
be
it-
like 20 part-time days, correct?
Yes, so they wouldn't be able to come for
Okay.
probably 10 until they're only half-time. We would only have so many days we could work.
Okay.
And we would have to
What
stick to
about
that.
So how does overtime work with
Then we
that?
wouldn't be able, when the halftime's up, is up.
So when you're wanting to work with baseball and softball, if their
That
hours
would
were
be
already
second-
taken
that
up
would
with
be second.
DAP, then you couldn't use them for that?
It would be
It
secondary.
would be, okay. Just-
And we wouldn't pay overtime unless it's over the 40 hours for that week.
We're not,
Right.
we would stick to the half, we would stick
Yeah.
to keeping them on a halftime within the month.
Any other questions, concerns? Thoughts?
So we need, I'm good with it.
Okay.
So we need a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve action regular agenda item D
A second.
on a half-time basis.
I have a motion and a second to create a halftime basis position to support DAEPIS service with the potential for assigned coaching responsibility. All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0. All right, now we're needing to discuss and take action on approval of personnel recommended for 12-month contracts for the 25-26 school year. We're gonna be pulling this up.
So you can see here last year's 12-month contracts and this year's, and this is just based on us realigning our athletic department and going to one AD and then to a boys and a girls coordinator. And so Zane with his principal and AD duties and those coordinator duties, we would like to put those on a 12-month contract. You can see it works out to be the same amount of 12-month contracts from last year to this year.
Do we need to do them individually, or can we do it as
I think we can do them together.
You can base it as stated on the 12-month contracts.
I'll make a motion to approve regular agenda item E. 12-month contracts for 2025-2026 school year
As presented, right?
as presented.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approving the 12-month contract for 25-26 school year as presented. All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0. Now we need to discuss and take action on the adoption of the TASB policy update 123, update 124, and update 125 to the Roby CISD board policy manual. These are the ones mandatory, or the TASB stuff.
So update 123 is basically, you can see up there, it's just talking about some different things from the legislative session, addressing both legal and local. It's about 95 pages long. I told you which pages to look at. If you look through your book, you can see what they've marked out. It's got some accountability policy that's in there. Talk about removing results-driven accountability. It's got some employee conduct stuff. There's some big stuff coming down. We're not going to cover it real deep this time, coming with library policy and library books that are in the library, and what the process is for getting new library books, and then also what the process is for parents being able to review those. So it deals with some of that, and we'll deal with the new law coming up in a future board meeting also. Update 124 is talking about legislative and administrative code updates. It's talking about federal grant guidance, investment policy, financial audit reports, the purchasing policy on interlocal agreements. And then update 125 is issued just the June and July 2025. It's driven by updates of the Texas Administrative Code and District of Innovation provisions. They've taken some of the rights out from District of Innovations, and it's dealing with some of the stuff like that. And some of that's, a lot of that's due, that DOI stuff is talking about teacher certification. Like there's laws coming down for core subjects, you can't DOI that. You're not gonna be able to DOI that any longer in the future. So, again, there's probably 250 pages of that, but that's the overview. I also gave you a chart at the end. I'll show it to you. I'll put it up there. Let's see. Here it is. And you can kind of see each policy that was updated and what it was regarding. And I'll kind of scroll through that. It tells you over there on the left which updated it is and whether it's local or legal. If you have a question on any one of those, you can go into the long packet and find it in there where it is and really read the language. I can tell you there's an update 126 coming in the fall also. But there was a lot of educated-related laws and stuff done over the last session and different things that were changed in the administrative code. So it's just updating our board policy. these are the things that TASB recommends we do.
Any questions on?
I make a motion to adopt the TASB policy update 123, 124, and 125 to the Roby Board Policy Manual.
Hear that?
So excited. Wait, I was like, dang.
Can you take a picture of that after you write down who did it? We'll get it to frame for us. First motion.
There you go.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor for approving this, the adoption of TASB policy update 123, update 124, and 125 to the Roby CISD Board Policy Manual. All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? 7-0. Next, consider and take possible action on TASB insurance coverage for 25-26 school year.
All right, so you can kind of see the numbers there on the chart of what they are looking at doing this year. We are saving a little money. Shockingly, it went up. Cammie, how much last year? It was,
We shot up, like, from the year before, it was about 92,000, I believe, and then it went up to 150, so now it's going back down again.
yeah. And so if you look at the second page here, one of the reasons we're saving a little money is you can see property values there are down a little bit. And so that's one of the areas that's saving us a little money. I've also added in there the actual form that if you guys approve that I will sign to authorize and purchase insurance from them. You're welcome to take a look. There's a Part A, and then there's also a Part B in there. That looks like this. And it talks about the specific coverages that we have. I can scroll down this a little bit if you want me to.
That's everything for the school.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Does that cover our off-campus housing as well?
Ooh. I think it does, yes. That was part of the property, but yes, it does. Yes. We talked about that, absolutely. Yeah. I think we're probably going to have to add the new houses, yes, that we just purchased.
Unless he already did.
I don't think the new house, the two new houses, the one on the highway and the one over by the baseball field, we'll have to add.
Do we need to bring that back?
We better get them on there.
We can approve this and sign it and then add those and bring it back to approve those after.
Tempting.
We're almost in.
Oh,
We're sleeping there.
your
Still
kid,
showering at the.
Well, then you're in.
are your kids gonna like being over there?
They love it.
They do? Because I figured here they could run back and forth to the football field and, but
They stay up here.
get them out of your hair.
All right, any questions, concerns?
I guess if that's our best option.
Well, make a motion.
Yeah, come on.
You don't have to lecture me, Doc. I'll make a motion
There we go.
to accept as stated or as presented. TASB insurance.
I second.
Right. Got a motion and a second on the floor to consider, or to approve the TASB insurance coverage for 25-26 school year. All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0. So now we're on to take action on the budget amendment as stated earlier by Cammie for the 24-25 fiscal year. Any questions?
And down at the bottom, it gives that little summary as well of what the total is. The total for the budget amendment was $79,800 for the payroll expenses. Do you have any questions about any of that? I know looking at all the numbers combined can be jumblesome.
I'll make a motion to approve a budget amendment for 2024, 2025 fiscal school year.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the budget amendment as presented for the 24-25 fiscal year. All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0. Alright, now I don't believe we have anything to go into closed session for, or do we have anything in regards to being go to closed?
Do we set budget next month?
We actually had Casey out this week to work with Cammie, and she's coming out again this week, and they're beginning that process. Our plan is to give you guys a review of the budget at the next August board meeting, and then set a hearing for the last week in August, if that works for all of you.
How's that?
I'll tell you, it's gonna be really, really helpful this year, because Region 14 created, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just asking her how that was going.
So, I mean, we have a better idea, I mean, because last year, comparing it to last year with some of the expenditures with things, how they truly need to be coded. Now going through it, me personally seeing, okay, this is on a monthly basis, this is on a yearly basis. And so being able to rattle off, oh yeah, now that we do that, now being in it and getting elbows deep in it, a lot of it has been better. So we know exactly what we need to budget for next year, for more expectations. Because like with the salaries, I can't speak for what had happened exactly last year, but I know with the service center helping just based off the expenditures, and whenever I came in trying to catch up on that to try to get as much on that budget, it kind of gave us an okay idea, but not to what it is now. So that is getting better. There is a lot at the end of the tunnel. Just got to keep pushing through it. It's a big push, but it's been a lot of learning too. So a lot of growing
And I think she helped that day, yes?
Yes, and I'm very grateful for the resources that I have now, because I still call previous business managers to pick, what's the history on this? Like, why did we do that and this? And they're more than helpful, so that kind of helps us set us up for the future as well, and expectations too. So I love being able to have all these contacts that I do now, to know what works at this district and not at this district, and why it was set up here this way, can we better it for next time? And so that's what we're working on now, is process improvement to get out of the paper business, because that's been the,
I really believe,
time consuming.
we'll have a more accurate budget this year, because
Right.
we're actually doing it ourselves and looking at what we're spending and how we're spending it. And so I
Yeah.
think that process is gonna be much better and much more accurate.
in doing budget amendments like we are now with payroll and stuff, we know what it's supposed to look like for next year, with all the salaries and stuff, so.
There's a lot of things, though, that are going on with that. The state passed raises for teachers, and so they passed 8,000 for 5 and above, yes, and 4,000 for 3 and 4. They passed nothing for 1 and 2, and then there's just a small allotment for everybody else. So really, one of the things that Cammie and with Casey's help and myself are working on is figuring out how we get every person the most money that we can get them and still be able to afford it and live within our means. So, I think we'll have some answers to that when we get together again.
Which, if you can see, our next meeting will be August 11th at 6. And budget hearing, as he said, we're gonna have it sometime in August.
Yeah.
And then September board meetings, the 8th at 6. When do we change it back to later, or are we gonna keep it at 6?
We always did later during the summer. Everybody liked it at 6, probably except for me, so. That's fine.
All right. All right,
One
any
day out of your busy schedule.
other,
I have no schedule, that's the problem.
You said September 8th, right?
September 8th at 6.
It's kind of hard to make it here sometimes. I didn't make it today, or we might have caught this strip.
I mean, and that's the thing, if we need to change it to later, when, cotton stripping time is, and
Yeah, that's
all
fine.
that, we can do that. I mean, and if it is, for people need it moved back an hour, it's It's not a problem, just say, hey,
It's not as bad now that we're not having 3 and 4 hour meetings.
yeah.
And would you do me a favor, look at the last week of August, and if there's a day that's not good for you at all, please let me know about that. Send me an email or text or something, because I'd like to have the budget hearing that last week in August, one of those days.
I'm going out of town the 29th,
Okay.
for sure, so, I mean, that's a Friday. I don't assume we'd be meeting on that day anyway.
Wouldn't think
You
so.
never know.
Never know, yeah.
We should do it on Friday the 29th.
Y'all are more than welcome to go ahead. Y'all-
It's a requirement, everybody has to be here.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have to skip your vacation or wherever you're
Okay.
going.
When do you leave? We could have it before you leave.
29th.
I'm leaving the 29th.
When?
Morning, you?
Morning,
Oh.
night, but when?
Morning. My husband likes to get up bright and early to leave.
So we could have the meeting like at 6 in the morning.
We could. I've been to a 7 o'clock meeting here before.
That's right, yeah.
You should've came to the 2 and 3 AM ones.
Oh, man,
Miss
those
those.
were, I don't miss those.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments? All right, we adjourn at 6:56. Look at that, you get it?
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.